Hi, I am Danny Tan. I'm the founder of She Belongs Here and the host of the You're Overqualified podcast. I'm here because I'm usually trying to give you a friendly reminder that you're overqualified 100% and you absolutely belong here. And so I'm a former VP of a billion-dollar organization who went from being a sample coordinator to a VP with 11 promotions, 11 years, and 5 career pivots, all to do this full time. So I left it all behind. I was like, you know what? Let me do this full time because I really, really do believe that you belong. You belong in that room. And I myself questioned it so many times. But before we dive in to today, just so you know, I work with women who are crushing it at execution, but suddenly realize that, wait a minute, I have to go from execution to actual strategy. And there necessarily isn't always a handbook or manual on how to manage people, how to influence, how to negotiate, how to deal with a difficult manager. And so a lot of the times that's who's working with me. You are super ambitious, you're super prepared, but it's all about having that plan for promotion conversations, those moments where you go from being an executor to being a leader in the room. So I'm happy that you're here. And just know if you ever want to learn more about what it's like to work together, you can always go to my website at dannytan.com. That's DANITAN.com and book a discovery call. But let's dive into what I want to talk about today. So I have a lot of lovely clients who are working on their promotions. And so what that looks like is, okay, who do I have a conversation with? How do I make it happen? What do I do? And so what I want you to take away from today are 3 takeaways when it comes to promotion planning and not to let them be left to the wayside. So I have 3 different clients in mind who I worked with last week on their promotion plans within one-on-one coaching. And so I want to just break down like the themes that I saw. So the first thing is this: when it comes to going for a promotion and getting that next step, it is really, really, really important that you do not wait until performance reviews. Now, if you're like, what? I had no idea. I'm telling you now so you know. The big thing that comes up when we wait till our promotion cycle, a lot of the times it has been pre approved months before that you were going to be put up for a promotion. And let me explain why. As somebody who was a former VP on building out teams, getting people promoted. So out of my entire career, out of that entire, decade plus of hiring, building out teams, I myself got at least one person at minimum on every single team that I was leading, someone a promotion. So I know what it means to actually get someone a promotion. Also, myself, obviously, I got 11 promotions in 11 years. So I've seen it from both sides. So here are the biggest things. If you wait till the performance review to ask for a promotion, there's so many things that have happened before that point. There is the point of they've had to your manager and the leadership team had to discuss what the budget is for who's getting promotions or what the bonus structure is going to look like and who's getting what paid out, getting the confirmation from HR, getting confirmation from potentially the CFO, getting confirmation potentially from the CEO, getting confirmation from your boss's boss. So there's so many different levels when it comes to getting approvals for a promotion. That's why it can't happen in one conversation. There has to be multiple touch points. So the biggest theme here is do not wait for your promotion cycle to ask for a promotion. Now, I'm not saying don't do that. If that's like where you're at right now and that's gonna be your first touch point of a conversation, then do what you need to do to get it going. But the way to really get a promotion is it really is happening 6 to 12 months before. So I want you to think about if you're like, but how come all these other people got promoted? Because guess what? I don't think we learned this in like grade school, middle school, high school, or college, that how to get a promotion, right? And so I'm trying to tell you, like, here's the playbook of you need to start talking to your manager about it at minimum 12 months in advance. I really recommend, honestly, 6 months in advance. So anywhere from 6 to 12 months, I really recommend 12 months because you want to give them time to get everyone else's approval, get everyone else's buy-in, and to move it forward. Now, ultimately, also is determined by your review cycle, right? So how does your organization give promotions? What is the review cycle like? What is the timing of that? So that's why it's important to figure out those pieces first. So again, I say, do not wait until review cycle. Make sure you're having these conversations and these touch points earlier on. It's okay to be like out the gate, hey, like what is a timeline for this? What is the process for it? So that's number one. The second one is you want to make sure you're keeping the receipts. Keep the receipts of the work that you're doing and making sure that it's aligned with what is expected for you to get a promotion. So I work with my clients on promotion plans, which have a multitude of things that we talk about of who are the people that are important to influence for buy-in, what is the process, what are the requirements, all so many different things when we come in and we execute that together. And so this is one of the things that I find very, very important is keeping the receipts. A lot of the times we feel like, well, I had the conversation once of what needed to be done and now I'm good. No, People are so busy running a multitude of like goals that they're trying to hit, things they're trying to achieve. So it's really, really, really important that you are clear when it comes to, hey, what is needed for me to get promoted and am I executing on it? So if you create that promotion plan with your manager and you are aligned to what needs to be done, then you start working on executing it. You're keeping record of what you did and you're checking in with them repeatedly, like not just that first time you had the conversation, then you wait at the promotion cycle and review cycle. You're reviewing it like either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly with your manager to be, hey, this is what I'm working on towards the plan. And that's super, super important. So I always say keep the receipts and make sure you're aligned with your manager. And then the last part is you have to have buy-in and it has to be outside of just your manager, no matter how cringy that may feel or uncomfortable that might feel. Hey, we're asking the organization to buy into us, right? And to continue to, value our work and for us to move up. We have to be able to build those relationships, right? And so knowing that your manager is not the sole person responsible for your promotion. That's why a lot of times when people go and talk to their manager, they're like, oh my gosh, they don't say anything right away. They're always like, oh, I'll come back to you and I'll let you know. A lot of the times the managers don't have the sole responsibility or are the only people who are the keeper of the keys for you getting promoted. And so if we put all of our eggs in one basket, it's going to be tough. And so knowing that, and something again that we do in promotion planning with my clients, you need to be able to understand who is pivotal for you to get a promotion. Because not even 10 times out of 10, it's not just your manager. It's usually your manager, your manager's manager. Maybe there's cross-functional partners. Maybe it's HR, maybe it's finance. And so being able to understand who's going to be able to help push it forward and sign off on it is super detrimental and crucial to you getting it to happen. And then the other part is, you have to create relationships with them and communicate with them and be able to figure that out and negotiate that so that way they understand who you are, the value that you bring and the work that you do. Because promotions are not solely about just keeping your head down and working super hard. I would love for it to be that way. It's just not. American corporate culture is very individualistic versus a lot of times being first, second gen, coming from different cultural backgrounds. We have more of a collective, and that's just different when it comes to where we are. And so either that's the space you want to be in and you want to make it work and you figure out the system so it works for you, or you decide that's not for you. That's totally fine. But a lot of the women that I work with are in those spaces because they love the work that they do. They're excited, they're ambitious, they're motivated, they're driven. They've just always been an executor and a doer. And now they want to be more strategic and get into that leadership position to affect and make change. Because the amazing part about getting promoted is not just about a title and money. Of course, those things are amazing. Of course, we want title, money. We want to be valued for the work that we do. But also the best part is when you get into a leadership position, you can start to understand how to create an impact on the organization in a bigger way. You get to help influence the strategy. You get to help pick who gets hired and how to train and develop them and give them a better experience than maybe you had and opportunities that maybe you didn't have. And that was a whole thing for me about being a leader. And so those are the things that I want you to remember when we're like, oh, well, why do I want to climb the ladder? Well, figure out your why of why you want to do it. And remember that when you want to get promoted, it does not, number one, happen in the promotion cycle. 2, you got to keep the receipts. And 3, visibility is super important outside of your manager. And when I think about my clients, I think about one client who she knew she wanted her next step. She had no idea what it was. So when she came into coaching and we had our discovery call, she was like, Danny, I know I want more. I have no idea what it is. I need help figuring it out. And so she is so smart, so ambitious, amazing to work with. But the biggest thing was us to do the discovery of okay, what do you love to do? What is your expertise? What is it that you want to do more of? Okay, we've got it. Now we're narrowing down the focus of what her ideal role would be and what that would look like, right? Then we were able to create that ideal role for her. And then she was able to talk to her manager. She had a new manager, by the way. It wasn't like she had a manager that she had an established relationship and rapport with. No, she had a brand new manager. And so by talking to her and us talking about the plan, she knew what points to cover when it came to what was the title she wanted, what kind of work she wanted to work on, what were the projects she wanted to focus on. And they aligned on her plan. So now she knows for her review cycle what she needs to do to get it done. And then we talked about key players for her to start to build relationships with. So now she's doing it and her manager is totally on board with her plan. And she is rocking and rolling. She feels like it has the clarity she needs to target the role that she wants to target. I have another client who she was on maternity leave. She came back and she was like, I really want to be up for a promotion. And for her, right, it was, how do I navigate this? And she had a brand new manager, also a brand new manager that came in. And so for her, it was about how do we outline what it is that you want? How do we have those difficult conversations that feel uncomfortable with your manager, your head of your department, with other key players that can help move it forward? And when we did that, she was able to move up her promotion timeline from 12 months to 6 months, which is amazing. So we love that for her. And now we're working on the skills of being able to develop and train people on her team. So when you're a first time manager, maybe you're kind of like, okay, I know how I want to help them. I know what they need, but I'm not exactly sure how to execute on it. Whether that's that they're disengaged, or whether it's that you just don't know how to necessarily create a career development plan for them. So that's what we're working on too. So we're working on, how to streamline their business to make it easier, how to work with different partners and collaborate, how to work with a new manager, how to work with a difficult manager. I have another client. So, they came in and they were saying, my manager does not support me, period. And so the biggest thing was, okay, if your manager does not support you, who does support you? And so being able to understand and get buy-in from those who do support you to get some intel on what it does take to get a promotion in your organization, to figure out who else can help champion you within the leadership, and then to supersede that manager who is unsupportive and start to have direct relationships with the chief and executive team so you can start to develop it. So they started running with it, and they got an entire plan built out by not their manager who was unsupportive, but by those around her, which has been super helpful. And so now they know what they need to do to start to build those relationships to make it happen. Okay. So hopefully you found this a very quick session helpful, but I just wanted to highlight some really big themes and some wins from clients in the last week when it comes to their promotions. And I hope you can do the same for yourself too. So if you're kind of like, it's April, I'm good, I don't need to do anything. I'm like, listen, if you want to get a promotion, you need to start now. You got to start planning now, whether it's figuring out, wait a minute, what do I even want my next step to be? Or if it's, I do know, but I'm not sure how to go about it. We work together to create the plan of what is it that you want? What does it take to get there? Who do you have to build relationships with? How do you negotiate? How do you create influence? How do you manage up? How do you develop people? How do you develop yourself? And so we have the best time doing it. I absolutely love it. And I always say my clients are amazing. So if you want to work together or even just learn about what it's like to work together, go to my website, DaniTanton.com. That's DANITAN.com. Click on the little contact button and you can book a discovery call with me. They're 60 minutes. So 30 minutes are just literally going through what your goals are, what you have questions on, where you're stuck. And then we talk about it. I give you a coaching plan that's customized to what is going on with you, whether that's you have a supportive manager, an unsupportive manager, you have a plan, you don't have a plan. And then we talk about what it would be to just work together one-on-one. And so if that is your jam and you want to just explore that, then go ahead and book a call. All right. So if this was helpful, amazing. Let me know. You can always send me a message, drop a comment or a DM, and I will talk